Hello, I'm Rachel Burr, and this is my introduction to the literary imagination class, and I'm about to give you a presentation about a theme that made a difference in my thinking in Henrik Ibsen's Dollhouse. In this play, Ibsen describes the realization a young woman named Nora has about her life and how it was first run by her father, and then her husband, and her decision to break free from their reign over her. The process by which Nora comes to this decision illustrates the importance of figuring things out for yourself, teaching readers that the only limits a person has are the limits that he or she accepts or makes for themselves, and ultimately that they are the only ones who can alter these limitations in the end. Nora refuses to remain an obedient wife and dutiful mother, not because she necessarily dislikes the idea of being a wife or mother, but because her individuality and personality are not valued in the doll's house in which she is being forced to live. She says to her husband after realizing that he does not value the significance of her decisions, "I lived by doing tricks for you, Torvald, but that's the way you wanted it. You and Daddy did me a great wrong. It's your fault that I've never made anything of my life." And she leaves the house not out of spite, but out of the knowledge that if she does not make anything of her life, no one else will. She refuses to accept the limits society places on her and dedicates herself to discovering what she was meant to be for herself. In a journal article titled "Gender Struggle Over Ideological Power in Ibsen's Dollhouse," Guo Yihao discusses the way in which Ibsen shows Nora breaking out of the expectations that her husband and society places on her. Although Torvald assumes he has complete control of his wife, in being submissive to him, Yihao says that Nora is playing a game while maintaining a life and a will of her own. Through her submission, she is able to influence her husband to pursue her own goals. It is only when Torvald expresses his lack of respect for his wife's individuality by refusing to help share responsibility for Nora's choices that Nora realizes he does not care for her as a person but as an idea. She tells her husband, "You have never loved me, you have only thought it pleasant to be in love with me." So the play illustrates that our relationships have to be founded on a respect for an individual and a valuing of their ideas, beliefs, and values. So don't follow the example of Charlie Sheen. Anne-Marie Rechtel's journal article, "The Female Juicens, an analysis of Ibsen's Dollhouse," also explores the pleasurable liberation that Nora experiences in the play. Through most of the play, Rechtel argues that Nora wears a mask to deceive herself and others in regards to her individuality and will. Only when Nora is confronted with the possibility of guilt, shame, betrayal, and even death through her conflict with Torvald regarding the money she acquired without permission does she begin to consider that she could have a life of her own without restrictions. As soon as this happens, the mask falls and she finds the freedom she wants. The challenge then, according to Rechtel, is to seek a society where such pleasure from freedom will be available to all. In order to create this kind of existence, we must each recognize the value of the desires and will of each individual. I have seen the importance of this belief in my first year of college, realizing that I do not have to be what anyone else wants me to be. I have to be Rachel Burr, and the world is just going to have to deal with that. A journal article by Pamela Anderson, the author not the supermodel, discusses autonomy, vulnerability, and gender using Ibsen's Dollhouse as an example of how individuality can be achieved regardless of a person's gender. Anderson says that Nora takes a step toward self-authorship by deciding to leave her husband in the play. In this moment, she reacts against her husband and father's view that she is a child in acute need of a practical man to compensate for her inadequacies. She rightly sees this as a destructive view of herself and rejects it. Only when our own abilities to make decisions and act without people telling us what we can and can't do are recognized and respected can we truly discover our responsibilities to others. If we are not acting as independent and capable people, we cannot truly take initiative in helping others. We simply become whatever society expects us to be, and that doesn't help ourselves or anyone else. Don't sit here in this class or any class and allow someone else to tell you what you should do or what you should be. Take this information, evaluate what it means for you, and then go out there and pursue the life you were created to live. So Ibsen's Dollhouse is a great play to think about when you're looking at college and becoming an adult. You don't have to listen to me, that's clear, but I do ask you to consider the fact that there is not a single limit placed on you that you are required to live under. The entire future is in front of you and you can make it what you want it to be. I'll leave you with this quote in the words of Frank Zappa. "If you end up with a boring, miserable life because you listen to your mom, your dad, your teacher, your priest, or some guy on television telling you how to do your crap, then you deserve it. Thanks for your time."